She didn't want to play so.
Okay.
This is my friend Esther right here. You gotta mess up your hair. I know you don't like being on camera.
Okay.
I just want to first off say thanks for coming to the show, and that you seeing you in the audience at first gave me a tear-jerking experience. You know, thinking about how we met and the history we shared. Me being in high school, and you know, you coming to New York. You know, I always tell you I thank you for the time of coming to New York. And I was starving. You came and took me to the market. We had a long dinner. I was telling you how rough life was, telling you about my mom, who was struggling with AIDS at the time. And I was telling you how much I hated women at the dinner table. And I was like, oh my goodness, all these girls, hoes, they ain't nothing. They want money, they want cars, and I'm never getting married. I'm never going to find somebody. And you were sitting there listening. You were like, yeah, he's young. And like, almost like you knew things would work out for me. And here I am, married today and happy, and have a son. And it was amazing. All of that, you know, was, you know, kind of culminated into one big explosion of emotion, seeing you, you know, in the audience, you know, at the 2020 Experience Tour in Denver. And I felt like, wow, like my whole life flashed before my eyes. And you know, it just, the joy and the appreciation I felt was just overwhelming.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You know, I know you get embarrassed easily. You don't like to be
you
complimented.
Know I do. You know I do, but I certainly feel that same joy, and we've had a nice, long relationship. It's been a lot of years now.
Yes.
And we have always, you know, remain connected.
Yes.
You know, sometimes there are longer stretches between the times we see or communicate, but that feeling never changes.
Yes.
The same feeling is there.
Yes.
That doesn't change.
Yes.
You know.
I'm about to be 40. You knew me since I was 17. She knew me since I was 17. I was a wild boy. I was crazy.
You were.
I was still passionate, emotional, and sensitive, but you know, I just.
See, like, I don't know. I don't know about the crazy.
Okay.
I don't know about.
You heard me talking.
You have every reason to be crazy.
Right.
But, no, I remember. Listen, you had a rough time growing up.
It was rough. It definitely was rough.
You had a rough time, and no, we can laugh about it now.
We can laugh about it.
We can laugh about it now. You know, that conversation we had in New York, but yeah, you know.
I especially love that
you did not. You were like. Did not like women very much.
No, I didn't like women. I was explosive. You know, part of it was because of my mom, you know, in dealing with, you know, the inner city trappings of Baltimore City.
Sure.
And, you know, growing up poor, growing up seeing people struggle, dealing with self-esteem, dealing with the things that teenagers deal with. But I just really felt like it wouldn't happen for me. And actually, at that time, I just used to ask God, just make me, you know, a superstar and give me groupies, and I don't ever want to be married. You know, it's amazing how you can change in a couple of decades from wanting one thing, knowing that that's how you are, to wanting something totally different, and your whole core just, you know, evolving, so to speak.
Don't you think that's what you always wanted deep down?
I wanted to be loved, but I didn't want, at least I didn't know enough to want to be married. I didn't know that could mean happiness. I actually didn't believe that a person existed on earth for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you didn't necessarily have that growing up, so you didn't think that was out there, and
at least not for me. I mean, I had grandparents, and they were married, you know, and they were old, elderly. I got to see that. I know it was possible, but maybe one in a million, you know, but just not with my background. You know, another thing, when you grow up rough, you grow up in the inner city, you kind of feel like you won't be so lucky. You know, you feel like, yeah, that can happen to them, but that won't happen to me. Like, I'll be one of the ones who will remain single. I'll be a gigolo. I'll have, you know, 4 or 5 chicks, and I'll just have to deal with people I don't really like and live the life of the suffering musician. And
see, I always thought that you were that way about women because women not necessarily treated you that way,
mm-hmm.
but that's what you saw. That's what you saw, the values that you saw.
Right.
That's what women were after,
mm-hmm.
and there's some anger there.
Yeah, there was some anger there for sure. And I did see that value system. I mean, we used to be on, in high school, we talked to girls on the phone, and the first thing they asked you is what kind of car you drive. And that was just like, what? What kind of car I drive? I'm trying to get an A in this class. I don't have a car. And, and I don't even have a job. Do you have a car and a job? So it was always, this thing, speaking of Baltimore City, this probably happens with other kids, is like when you don't have some kind of financial status. Even when I taught school, I remember kids used to fuss and fight about whether they had white tennis shoes. Like, if you had white tennis shoes, that means you were rich or doing well. Now, rich or doing well meaning you're poor, but the fact that your shoes were white was like you were in a different class. So there was even classism in a inner city, disenfranchised, poor, neighborhood, elementary kids. They were really judging each other based on the cleanliness of their shoes. And I was like, wow, okay. So if kids fight over shoes at a young age, and then adults talk about jobs and cars, it's like so many people are so stuck on the superficial, and it's rehearsed and it's ingrained in the culture.
It is, and it's all across all.
And it's across all lines.
Income levels.
Yeah, all income levels.
All, yeah.
What do they call it? Chasing the Joneses?
I don't know. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, something like that. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. So
trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Keep up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
So, and my music changed. Yeah, at that time, I made some records, ran some clinical depression, and, good records that were heartfelt, and they were passionate and super raw. But since then, I started to realize that true joy, peace, and happiness, can come from having just real relationships, meeting people that love you, meeting someone like you you're a real truth seeker first, and then a compassionate, sensitive human who cares about the well-being of other people, and when you are fortunate enough to meet those kind of people, you grab them and you hold on to them. You don't want to let those people go in your life. Like, I can mark down the special people that I've met over the years, and when you see that, okay, these are special ones. When I met my wife, Mashika, I felt like, even as my...
But you met her in high school, didn't you?
Met her in high school, but she was just a friend. Mm-hmm. Later on, we became best friends and just hung every day, and I'm like, wow, this person is so special. They care about me so much. You can tell when someone just cares about you genuinely. And all of a sudden, that deep level of care just turned into love. And then all of a sudden, I felt like, wow, other women that I deal with, the relationship is kind of meaningless. Sex is involved, but not fulfilling. It was like going through the motions. It was like very superficial. So when I, felt that deep connection, I felt like, okay, here is real love. Here's the potential for everlasting / unconditional / eternal love. And that's when I felt like I became like a man, and I wanted to do manly things. And I, my biggest evolution, I started thinking about God and faith and my future, and not wanting to die, and not, at one point I was like, I don't care if I die tomorrow, that was my 90s attitude. And so I started thinking about, wow, I would like to spend my life with this woman. I would like to be an elderly man talking to this elderly woman. That's how much I loved Mashika. So, by the time we got married, obviously, and it must have surprised you hearing me, meet me at one age and then hearing me 10 years later, like, wow, this is...
I don't know that it surprised me, because I thought it was... It was youth when you were younger, and and a lack of nurturing, so it was so great to see you get that sense of peace and feeling that you were loved and somebody really cared about you and was there for you and I think that, allowed you to relax and really be who you are.
Would eventually become.
Yeah, but
right,
I think
and who are you? That
you
person.
were that person.
Okay.
Inside.
Okay. That's real. That's real. To be able to relax in love and be who you are inside and not have to fight the
world. Yeah.
That's a pretty good assessment. But that first song came on, for those who are just tuning in now. This Dontae Winslow blog, my life story. One of my best friends, Esther. I was playing tonight at the Denver Pepsi Center with Justin Timberlake playing the 2020 Experience World Tour, and Esther was over on the left side, and I think the first song was Push Your Love, and as I was just playing the melody, and I looked and glanced over at you, and I was like, I got like choked up, it's like a movie moment where, at the end of the flick, you think about your youth, you think about the struggle, you think about high school, you think about, the horrible moments, and then you think about this end of the story where you're playing, you're at the top of your field, you're playing on the stage, you see one of your friends who saw you, matriculate through the whole process, and it's like a big celebration. It was like a victory moment. I felt like, wow, she's getting to see something that, she helped nurture and that you believed in, basically,
Yeah, but I've seen it all along.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it all along, but it was so much fun for me to be there, and it's amazing. There are concerts you go to and you think, you just you look at the people on the stage and you would love to connect with them, and here I was,
right.
Oh my God, I'm like this, and you're like this.
Yes, I'm like, look at me,
how much fun.
Right, that is fun. And we did some great projects together. The Change Your Life, Change the World CD. It just blessed so many kids. It won a John Lennon Songwriting Competition award. The International John Lennon Songwriting Competition, that was 2002. The song was called I Love School. And so many kids at Gilmore Elementary that I taught, they just, some of them go to college now, and the focus was for them to be interested in college. The kids love the song. My son loves the songs. It became like a classic Baltimore City anthem for kids who would seek to become college students and just good kids and have values and morals. That was some real deep spiritual work that we did. And now you've been helping people doing philanthropic work and just giving as long as I can remember. And
never enough.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I know you're gonna say never
not.
enough, but
Never
what
enough.
would you've seen miraculous things take place in the lives of others, people who you've helped and you've cared about. How does that make you feel as a giver? Like you're a God-born giver. And how does that make you feel to see the fruits of your labor? Like, wow, I saw this at this point. I gave of myself. I see it at this point. How does that make you feel?
I feel blessed.
Okay.
It's because I have this kind of connection with you.
Mm-hmm.
My life is blessed. So I get something from it.
Okay.
I mean, this relationship especially is one of those forever relationships in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think in those kinds of terms that you're asking me to think in.
Okay. I just wanted to cross your mind,
No, I
you
think,
could say that,
oh my God,
if you
it's
just
so
laid out,
awesome, you're doing.
if you laid out
You're
everyone,
doing so great. I'm so proud of you, but you've done it all. You've done it all for sure.
I just wanted to introduce the world to you because you're a kind and beautiful spirit, and I think people need to mimic, the trends that you've set, and you're not even from Baltimore.
No.
And you've changed the lives of so many children in Baltimore. That's
Yeah, I know,
noteworthy.
but I don't ever think that way.
I know she doesn't think that way, y'all.